Welcome back, everyone, to my series where I introduce you to new games to check out on Roblox. Now, this is episode number 43. That means there's 42 other episodes for you to check out. However, they're on my main channel, not this channel. This channel has taken over my series. I've moved it over to this second channel. So if you want to check those videos out, I will link them in the description as well as in the top right here. It's been a while since I've done a video on new games, and so we have a lot of games for you to check out. Now, if you'd like discovering new games or games that are just worth checking out, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into it. First game we have here is Expedition Rubasa. It is a game much like Expedition Antarctica. If you recall that, I mean, you got those killer penguins, man. Who can forget the killer penguins? No, seriously though, this game has a lot more to offer in my opinion. I've done a bunch of videos on Expedition Antarctica on this channel and a whole lot of other climbing games, and this game is just as fun. I did check it out for a moment. I do plan on making a dedicated video on this game exploring all of Rubasa, so make sure you look out for that. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. If you're new to this style of game, typically you need to go get supplies. So you got like a headlamp, you've got water, of course, to keep your energy up so that you don't run out of energy. I didn't see like any food or anything like that, so I think all you need to do is just drink water. Oddly enough, I don't think we could survive just off of water, but I don't see an oxygen tank, so it doesn't look like you're going to be doing any like high altitude climbing, unlike Everest, you know, kind of climbing games. Those games are all about going up, and this one's more about just surviving the wild. So there's all kinds of obstacles. There's even some killer alligators, so you got to watch out for those, and pretty much just navigate. There's also some cars. I kind of took it the wrong way. The dev was like, dude, you're going the wrong way, and sure enough I was. But yeah, check out Expedition Rubasa. It's a lot of fun. Next up is probably one of the best RNG games I've played in a moment. And yeah, I know there's a big hate club for RNG games. Look, not all RNG games are made the same. Most of them are bad, I'll admit. Most of them are just cash grabs. This one genuinely looks like it's trying to make, you know, a game off of the mechanic, a true RNG mechanic that's not about gambling. So this game is called Tower Defense RNG, and it kind of reminds me of Tycoon RNG. If you ever played that one's also fantastic. Probably the only two RNG games I really like to just jump in and play. And this game, it's all about spinning for your towers. So it is a tower defense game. It has a little bit of that Defender's Depot feel to it, but the difference between these games is Defender's Depot is all about, you know, making your path or drawing your path for your towers. This one's all about having pre-made like spaces for towers that you can place. Once you complete level 15 of all the different waves, then you can rebirth, and rebirthing is going to give you like some exclusive stuff. And of course there's different rarities and like attributes and upgrades to your towers. So you might have like a shiny tower, you might have a toxic tower, inferno tower, and things like that. And you can also upgrade them and spin for that using the coins that you earn while you kill waves of zombies and such, or whatever the enemies are. I got stuck playing this game for like an hour, no joke. But yeah, this game is a lot of fun. Definitely check out Tower Defense RNG. Now, the incremental genre fans are going to love this one. This is called Egg Tree Incremental, and it's like grass cutting incremental. The difference being is instead of collecting or cutting grass, you are basically picking up eggs. If you've never played an incremental style game, they're just real simple. They're basically like the cookie clicker genres where you need to go around, collect a bunch of stuff, and upgrade and upgrade and upgrade and become more powerful. You get more multipliers, you get, you know, volume, you get introduced to new aspects of the game, like different types of eggs, and then eventually you can make boiled eggs, you can get yolks, you can get gold eggs, all that kind of stuff. So, and then of course you got to layer that in with like tons of different rebirths and types of rebirths and currencies and all that. So it gets more complicated as you progress. But the thing I love about incrementals is that it's real basic at first, and then it gets progressively more complex. Fun tip, the free pig is inside the barn on the top. Next up is the newest and greatest fishing simulator game, which is called Fish. And apparently fish is fish in German. I don't know. But basically you add the C and it's fish in German, I guess. That's what I'm told. If I'm wrong, blame the commenters, okay? It's not me. But yeah, this game is a new popular fishing game. It is pretty simple and straightforward. You basically go get a fishing pole and fish, and you got different types of, you know, fishing poles you can upgrade to. And then eventually you're going to get a surfboard, which you can use to get out into different zones. And there's different areas and fishing spots. It seems like the goal of this game is just to get more and more powerful with your upgrades. And then of course, you know, get better boats. Beyond that, I mean, Fish is a pretty straightforward game. It's very popular too. People love this game. I'm always hearing of people in my community playing this game and begging me to play with them. So yeah, it's pretty popular. Next up, we have a game called Evolution Simulator, and it is not really a simulator. It's called a simulator. It's not really a simulator. This game is a side-scroll castle defense game. There's tons of games like this. I'm not even going to start naming them off. They originated on like web games, like Flash games, and then they kind of went over to mobile games, and some years later, they ended up on Roblox, and there's tons of them. This game's all about accumulating energy, and then once you have enough energy, you can spawn units. The difference between this game and other games is that you evolve. So you start off with like these little cave dudes, and then you become Egyptians, and so on. So you can get better and better units and evolve over time. So like initially you get these like boulder throwing guys, and you can also increase the rates of your energy, so you can basically spawn more units more quickly. And you are playing not so much against other people, but you can see other people playing, which is nice. Like this is a nice change up from the other games that I've played, and that it feels like you have company, because you can see where other people are progressing. You can see how further along they are compared to you, and how much energy they've had and all that kind of stuff. So way more social, if you could call it social, if that makes sense. But definitely check out Evolution Simulator if you like this style game. Now, fans of doors are going to enjoy the underside, and I know that sounds so wrong, but it's called the underside. And I think the whole point of this was meant to be like beneath the mines. I don't know. It's weird, but it's a Doors inspired fan game with a twist. It feels like you're kind of like in this test like laboratory area, so like maybe it's more centered around the monsters, like you're in a test. It almost kind of feels like Stranger Things, like the upside down maybe, but it's unique. The sound effects are different. You've got like some kind of story voiceover going on. You've got different types of puzzles, so it is basically Doors but with a unique twist. Like I said, I didn't really get very far. I think I got to like maybe door 30 and then I kind of gave up. It is pretty repetitive but interesting game, and I thought I would mention it because it did feel high quality, had some really cool lighting, had some cool sound effects, had some cool story. Overall, interesting enough to share. So check it out if you're into Doors. Next up, we have Catacombs, and this is kind of like a haunted obby style game. It has a little bit of that Tower of Hell kind of feel where you need to make it to the end before the timer, and it's basically randomly generated each round. So each time someone, can go to the end, you get first, second, third place. Big twist here though. You have a like fireball thing. I don't know if you can unlock other types of abilities, but it is a PvP style game. A lot of people don't realize this. They just have the little fireball out for light, but you can actually cast the fireball and kill other players while you're trying to do the obby. So if you really want to troll people, you could in this game. You're gonna make people rage, dude. While you're completing the obby, you have jump scares that will appear, and if you like touch them, then you will die. And then there's also a haunt mode you can pay to win to like turn everything dark and make it kind of spooky feels. But once you complete the obby, you can either go back to the start, or you can just turn around and start like trolling people. I kind of did. I started trolling people that had already completed the map. I started this fireball battle with someone else that already completed it. It was hilarious. But Catacombs, really cool, nicely polished, just different. Check it out. Next, we have a game called Run and Gun Zombies, and it's pretty much a wave survival shooter with bosses and different weapons you can unlock and abilities and such. This one, you don't actually have to aim. It auto shoots for you, and you just have to survive. There's bosses, like I said, pretty much after a certain amount of time, waves appear, and it just keeps getting more and more difficult, and at some point, it's basically impossible, and you die. And of course, you can upgrade your health, you can upgrade your speed, you can upgrade all kinds of, attributes there, and I think even jump height, and it's pretty much a progressive game. Now, the points, I have to say, it's pretty grindy. I didn't get that many points. I've played like 3 or 4 times, and I still only had like half of what was required for weapons. So I feel like the developers on this game need to balance it a little bit more so that you can get stuff early on and maybe make it more grindy later for higher end stuff. But initially, you should be able to get stuff very quickly, and then it should slow down. But right out the gate, it's pretty hard to get a new weapon, so you're pretty much stuck grinding for a while. But Run and Gun Zombies, pretty cool. Check it out. Next, we have a game called Steel Battleground Clash, and it is a tank simulator style game, but without always having to be in tanks. You don't have to always be in tanks. You can actually go on foot, and you can select different classes. You could be a sniper, you could be a tank crew, you could be a scout, you could be all kinds of things. And this is a capture or point capture type map game where you need to go around capturing various points to try to eliminate your enemy's tickets. So if you control more points, then their tickets go down, just like any other capture point style game. There's tons of them on Roblox. There's tons of them outside of Roblox. The whole Battlefield series from EA kind of dominated this and created this, genre. This game, at first, it's kind of complicated. I will say I didn't know how to drive a tank. So you do need to be a tank crewman to be able to go and spawn a tank. If you spawn a tank, I didn't know how to drive it because I was looking for like that E proximity prompt to be able to jump in and drive around. But you have to click with your mouse. So you have to open the top of the tank. Then you have to click on a seat to sit. So just a tip, all right? And then you got to turn on the engine. And then, you also have gears. So you need to use like E to, shift up and Q to shift down or get into neutral or get into reverse. So if you don't know anything about that, it's going to be a bit of a learning curve. Also, I highly recommend going with more than one person in a tank because trying to switch between driving and gunning and machine gunning is a pain. You're going to get worked. So you really want to have someone driving and then someone on the actual like gun and with the main cannon, because otherwise you're just going to get absolutely destroyed by other tanks because they usually have more than one person in their tank because there's a delay between jumping between seats. speed. So if you want to switch to your main gun, you're probably going to get blown up before you can actually shoot your cannon. So yeah, it's a fun game though. I tended to kind of go around as just a scout and just kept blowing up tanks and blowing up people. Super fun. I ended up playing this game for over an hour. I don't know how. I started taking over flags. I started taking over bases. I started getting into like this whole like back and forth with some other players. We just kept killing each other. Super fun. Definitely check out Steel Battleground Clash. One of the best tanking on Roblox right now. There's some other ones too, but this one was a lot of fun. And finally, we have one of the darkest, most fun games out of the series. I kind of, left best for last, and that is called Ascent. Now, Ascent's a very dark kind of game, okay? So the whole point of this game is you are going to probably die. It's a survival game. So you start out with platform 1, and each platform that you can progress to is a different mini game. So imagine like Simon Says style stuff, wipeout kind of stuff. It basically, the map's trying to kill you. I think you can get up to like 24 players, but basically you start in this circular or cylinder style room. There's a random event that can occur and it gets progressively more difficult. Some of these you got to just like push balls into like their correct sorting order. You got to go and pop bubbles. You got to go and pick up a bunch of hot dogs. You got to avoid spikes. You got like a twist top thing that ultimately kills me at the end. There's all kinds of like dangerous rooms and mini games that you need to survive, and you just need to see how far you can go. Now I can imagine this would be a lot of fun with more players. I only did it solo because I was solo and no one else was in the server that I was in. And eventually after my match, there were a bunch of people around. But Ascent has to be one of the best games I've played in a moment for mini games, just because it's so creative, it's so simple and well polished. Definitely check it out. Anyway, I hope this video showed you a game you would like to go and play. If it did, please hit that like button. Let me know in the comments below if one of these stood out for you. If you have any new games to recommend, you could do so in the comments below. Till next time, happy grinding, peace.